Morning peeps, I'm back again, and today we're going to have a look at some pre-season form and have a look at last season's pre-season just to see if we can work out whether it really is relevant or whether it should all be taken with a pinch of salt. But first we're going to have a game. We're going to play Spot the Difference. So here we go, Spot the Difference. Now, can you see anything different about the Scout website today? Because something's changed, something's disappeared. Where there were 3, there's now only 2. You can see that? There's the DraftKings adverts there and the Bet365. But there's one missing, Plucky. Plucky has disappeared because Scout obviously finally have listened to the community and decided that they cannot keep that advert there, which allowed people to put money into Plucky for them pay mini leagues, etc. while they were being investigated. So it was like ridiculous to keep the advert there. Like, they kept it there for about 2 days after they knew that Plucky was being investigated, and it should have come down straight away. But at least they've done the right thing, and the community has done very well, and we've managed to hold sway over Scout, because it wouldn't have happened otherwise, would it? And so we won the battle, peeps. But whether we're going to win the war is a different matter, isn't it? Because we're under attack from all sides. You know, all these greedy people trying to manipulate us and take our money. But we've done well there. You know, we've made a stand, circled the wagons, and we've fought off the evil Scout. You know, Hub's turn next. We're going to get them soon because they're up to shady business. But one battle at a time, peeps. One battle at a time. Okay, then. So that's enough of that. So this is a table I made last season. I think it only went up to the end of July of pre-season form for last season, not this season. So I thought I'd have a look at the names and we'll see whether they actually went on to do any good. So the first one, Jesus, 7 goals, 1 assist last year. So we all rushed to get him, didn't we? And we bought him in our teams. And actually, he turned out, he was pretty good, I think. You know, he started the season well, didn't he? And it was only later on he turned to custard. But he made a fast start, which is what we want to see. And it showed up in pre-season. So that's probably why we all got him, because he did do well in pre-season. And it paid off. And Nketiah, can't say the same about him, because he was really great in pre-season. But then again, we knew, didn't we? We knew that he wouldn't be playing once the season started, so that didn't really cost us. Nunes, now we're going to talk about him again later as well for this season. But last season he got 5 goals. Didn't really cement himself, did he, last year? First year in the big league. And he looked good, but his finishing let him down. You know, he's missing, hitting the post a lot. Getting lots of chances, as you'd expect as being a Liverpool striker, but not so good. But we'll talk about him later anyway, because he's a bit better situation now, I think. Anyway, Kane, good pre-season last year. See nothing of him this year, have we? But he did well last year, and he went on with it as well. So people that got him would have got a good start. Zaha, being Zaha, you know. Thing with Palace is they probably played a load of lower division teams in the pre-season. That's what they tend to do, isn't it? And he had a great pre-season, but once the action started, it was in and out. You know, he's a funny old character, Zaha, isn't he? He's never really been a fantasy mainstay. He kind of always been threatening to be one, but he's never quite done it, has he? You know, maybe he should have gone to a better club at some stage. I don't know. It's a tricky one, him. I think he's out of contract now, isn't he? But no one seems to be snapping him up. Anyway, Rodrigo, I think he did okay, didn't he, once the season got underway? And Mitrovic, now if you bought him based on pre-season form, like I think a lot of people did, didn't they? They got him to go with Haaland and Jesus. And Mitrovic did really well, didn't he? Really well. He was banging them in left, right and centre, wasn't he? And Fulham without him probably going to suffer for it, aren't they, not having him in their team? But he did the business in pre-season. Almiron, 4 goals in pre-season. I don't think he started the season that great, but he did it overall. He had a good season, didn't he? I think it was more in the second half of the season he came into his own. But clearly in pre-season you could see he was a good player. Saka did well in pre-season. Bueno, 4 goals last year. Well, he's only got 1 this year, hasn't he? And that was a penalty today. So people are snapping him up because he scored a penalty today. At least he's on penalties. But on the flip side, he hasn't actually scored a goal in open play like he did last year. So, same with Jesus, isn't it? I mean, Jesus, 7 goals last year and 1 assist. But this season, I don't think he's scored 1 goal, has he? Well, he might have got 1. He might have scored 1 goal this season, pre-season. So that's a worry, because he scored 7 last year, started the season on fire, and went on with it. This season he's not on fire, so is he going to go on with that? Is he going to go on not being on fire? I don't know. I mean, I've got him. I'm tossing up between him and Darwin at the moment for that second spot. I've still got Jackson in there. But I'm debating it. I'm going to have a look at the Charity Shields. Charity Shield's going to decide it for me with Jesus and probably with Martinelli as well. But anyway, let's get on with it, peeps. Right, Daka. 3 goals and assist. Came in with a bit of fanfare, didn't he? Leicester was shit all year. Never really did much, did he? Even Barnes didn't do much. I think he was injured for a while. Salah, 3 goals and an assist, as you'd expect. Was his usual Salah self. I don't know if he started that quickly though, did he, last year? Not sure. Martial, rubbish. Sancho, rubbish. Those two, actually, I was watching Man U just now. They're playing a friendly at the moment, and I think they're losing 3-2 to Dortmund. And I was a bit peeved off because I was looking forward to watching it just to see how Fernandes and Rashford and that dynamic with Mason Mount, etc. And then I went to watch the game, and they put all these blooming kids in that were playing, and Fernandes and Mount weren't even playing. Well, you'd think with so little time left in pre-season that they'd be spending more time trying to integrate Mount and work out what they're doing. Because when I look at Chelsea's pre-season and compare it with United's, they're like miles apart. What are United doing? I'm actually thinking now, get that useless prick Fernandes out of my team. Or Rashford. I'm not seeing it from them. There's still another week to go, but I don't know. I just don't like the way, like they say, you can't put too much store in pre-season, but they're not spending the time very wisely, in my opinion. They've really got to, I think the last game, Fernandes starts in a different place every game. They need to settle down, work out what they're doing. They don't seem like a side that know what they're doing. Like Poch's coming at Chelsea, and you can see they've all got their confidence back. They all know what they're doing. He gets them in a huddle during the drinks break, and he's like, bang, 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 you do this, you do that. And they're all know exactly what they're doing, don't they? You don't see that with United. They're fluffing about. Useless. Right, Bailey for Villa. Just lost a million, well, I don't have a million subscribers, but I would have lost all the United ones. Right, let's have a look. Sancho or Bailey. Now, he was a pre-season bandwagon, wasn't he, last year? Him and the other Villa player, Buendia. And they both got quite a few goals, I think, in pre-season. But neither of them really followed it up, did they? Not really. And as for Benteke, well, less said about him the better. He's like mini Lukaku, isn't he? He's like Lukaku of old. But he did used to be a really good fantasy asset, didn't he, once upon a time, for a few years. Anyway, peeps, let's get on to the next exciting segment. Well, I've taken all my players out of my team because I've had enough of them. Got sick of them, and I've taken them all out. And the reason I've taken them all out is I just wanted to put in all the players that are doing well in pre-season this season, so we can have a quick look. Have a talk. And I'll tell you who I've got to talk about now, because I just watched a friendly game today, Palace and Seville. I think it was Seville, one of those Spanish teams. And Eze was easy or Eze, I don't know. But whatever it is, he was fantastic today. Unbelievable. I mean, Palace were pretty shit, to be honest. It was one each. The team's not very good. But Eze is like super talisman in that team. Everything. He created so many chances. You know, he created more chances in that game than some players create in like half a dozen games. You know, he was like outstanding, and he got a really fantastic goal on the 75th minute. So he played at least 75 minutes. I don't know how long he stayed on after that. But honestly, he was fantastic, you know. So if you're looking at pre-season form, and Eze was already in your plans anyway, just because he did well last season, didn't he, at the end? And he's like I said, he's a talisman in that team. Fantastic. You know, he got Bournemouth in the first game. And I'm considering him myself, to be honest. I haven't had a detailed look yet, but I'm considering him. Anyway, so who else have we got? Jackson's still in there. Looked great today, actually. I put Darwin in. Now, Darwin. I'm going to talk about Darwin now, because he's suddenly become a bandwagon, isn't he? And he's tempting. He's very cheap. I think he's 7.5 or 7. And I went and had a look on the bookies the other day, a couple of bookmaker sites, and I noticed that Darwin, outside of Salah, Kane and Haaland, Darwin's at the best odds to finish as top scorer. In fact, one pundit was recommending him as a bet. I think he was 20-1 to end the season as the highest point scorer, or the highest goal scorer, and that includes Haaland, etc. And someone was recommending having a cheeky bet on him, because he's got so much upside, hasn't he? So much upside. And Firmino's gone, and he's been doing really well with Salah, hasn't he? And a lot of people are putting in their teams. But we're going to go back to the scout now, and I'm going to show you something, because, you know, we've been slagging the scout off a lot, haven't we, lately? But we're going to have a look, because they do some good things as well. So we're going to have a look and see what Klopp's saying about Darwin today. Because when the bloody thing loads, it's so slow, isn't it, this site? But it's shit. Right, let's have a look. Sorry, we're only saying good things about them, aren't we, now? So let's have a look. It's very confusing, this article, actually. It took me a while to work out what he was talking about. But here we are, Darwin from last night's game. Now, first half of the game, Darwin scored. And Klopp had a bit to say about it. So what did he say? This is what I mean. I read it, and then it said they are sentiments made towards the end of 2023. Blah, 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 blah. So this is what he said last night. He was talking about the high press. See, Darwin's scoring goals, but Klopp's not happy. Because what he's not happy with is that Darwin doesn't defend. He doesn't come back and help on defence. In my opinion, he shouldn't have to. You know, this is the trouble with these strikers these days. That's why they don't score many bloody goals, because they're always having to come back and defend. You know, I know they're obsessed with the high press, aren't they, these days? Let the bloody bloke have a rest. You know, let him hover around and poach some goals. You know, that's my opinion anyway. But Darwin only played the first 45 minutes and he got a goal, but then Klopp's saying, we scored wonderful goals, that was good. Created great other chances, that was good. First half, the high press didn't work pretty well. He's not very good at English, Klopp, you know, but he tries, doesn't he? But the high press didn't work pretty well. In moments it got better, and then we won the ball high up the pitch, which is so important. But that's why we had these situations where Leicester could go through with the speed. So he's saying that Leicester were able to go straight through them, and he's kind of blaming the high press. Or to be honest, peeps, I just blame Liverpool's defence. Shit. Right, so let's see. So he's going on about him. And then Scout pipe up and say that Liverpool boss again hinted he wasn't happy with the first half pressing display against Leicester. Darwin was leading the line, in case you hadn't guessed. So no guarantees of a game week start for Darwin then, despite the goals flowing. Well, this is a thing, isn't it? So Darwin's scoring goals in pre-season like he did last year. So we're looking at it and we're thinking, great, because he's getting FPL points, isn't he? Or he would be if they counted. But Klopp's not worried about FPL points. He's worried about his press. That's his main concern, it seems, at the moment. He's more worried about his defence, isn't he? Because Leicester have ripped him apart. To be honest, he's terrified of Jackson. That's what it is. He's terrified of Jackson, and he wants to make sure that press is there before the Chelsea game. So whether it's up in the air, according to Scout there, it's up in the air whether Darwin will in fact be playing against Chelsea. So we'll see, because he's not very good at defending. So we'll have a look at Darwin in his next game and see if he improves that aspect of his play. But that's one thing with Jackson. I mean, Jackson only played the second half today, didn't he? But it was meaningless, Chelsea's fixture today, the second half, because they changed the entire team at half time. And the second half team, they just never got any rhythm going whatsoever. So Jackson really wasn't much he could have done. If he'd been playing in the first half, I reckon he'd have got a couple of goals. But second half, not much going on for him, really. He looked good, though, because what he was doing, it was quite a few times he actually did win the ball in defence, doing exactly what Klopp has been saying that Darwin should be doing. So Jackson's overall game, superb, absolutely superb. You got hats off to the Chelsea scouting team for him, because I wouldn't be surprised if he's better than that bloody Højlund character for a start. We'll see what he's like later, but we don't know yet, do we, what Højlund's like, other than he's got a name like Haaland and comes from Scandinavia, so United getting desperate, falling behind the blue side of City, and they're trying anything to try and get back, aren't they? But I don't know if Højlund will be the answer. I don't know if we've got a price for him yet, have we? But anyway, so Jackson's what Darwin's supposed to be like. But I'd like to put Darwin in my team, to be honest. I really would. I'd like to be able to get rid of Jesus and stick Darwin in my team. But there's just this uncertainty, isn't there, still with him? Don't know. Right, Nkunku played wide today because the winger, everyone was asking where Mudryk was. But Mudryk is playing in a match for Ukraine at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. So he was given the night off. He was not injured or anything. So Nkunku played in his position. He kind of did like a Salah sort of role today. And he looked quite good. He's a midfielder, obviously, not a striker. I don't know why he's been classified as a striker. You can see the way he plays, he's not a striker. But he is very good. He's going to create a lot. Him and Jackson are going to cause havoc, I think. Havoc. And it's interesting that even in that first half, when Jackson wasn't playing, Nkunku didn't play as a striker. It was one of the kids played as a striker. I can't remember his name now. But one of the kids played as a striker. And so I think that Klopp already, Poch already knows that Jackson's going to be leading the line come the first week. That's why he doesn't need to practice with Nkunku as being the striker at the moment, because he already knows that he's not going to be the striker in game week 1. Jackson's going to be it. So they're looking good. And in fact, in game week 3, I might have Jackson and Nkunku, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be at all surprised. That's if Jesus is no good. And so we talked about Eze. Fantastic. Anderson. Now, we'll have a quick word about Anderson, because a lot of people are bringing him in. He's a 4.5 midfielder, which are in scarce supply. He's been getting goals and assists, scoring for fun. But the question is he going to stay in the team? Because I think he's there cover, because somebody's not there at the moment. I don't know. I don't actually know, to be honest. But it's up in the air whether he's going to be playing. And the one thing you want with your 4.5 midfielder is that they're there week in, week out, because you don't want to be changing them. 9 times out of 10 they're going to be on your bench, and they're not going to get, even if they score, they can be annoying because they sit there on your bench with all the points, and then you end up getting tempted to start them, and as soon as you do start them, they get 2 points. So, and the other danger is if a lot of people buy him before the season starts, and then he doesn't actually start, then his price will drop. On the flip side, if he does get lots of points, more people are buying him, my one will drop in price. So 50-50 there, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think he is nailed down. A Trossard, great in pre-season, absolutely fantastic. But whether he's going to start or not, we don't know, do we? A lot of people saying he's going to get a game as reward. But I mean, it could just be the Charity Shield, couldn't it? They might put him in starting in the Charity Shield for all we know. That's the thing with it, isn't it? Sore throat peeps. That's the thing with Arsenal, isn't it? We got the Charity Shield and City. As for City in pre-season, they look like, to me, they look like a side that's got a Champions League hangover. Pep's not really exerting them too much, I think, because he knows they play more games than everyone else once the season actually starts, don't they? So they're not going 100% yet. But they haven't been particularly impressive. Haaland's done nothing. But, you're not going to kick him out on the strength of doing nothing, are you? Because if you take him out, there's not much else you can bring in anyway. But I'm not full of confidence, though, with City. I think there might be a bit of a hangover. They have lost a few players. But like I said, you're not going to risk it, are you? You're going to get them, and then the only time you're going to get rid of Haaland is when other people start doing it. But, yeah, the Salah really goes mental, but it's unlikely, isn't it? But what else have we got here? Bowen, you're not going to pick him, I think. I've left one out, which is, what's his name? Havertz. Interesting thing with Havertz, actually, because I watched the Black Box the other day, and Az has picked Havertz, hasn't he? But you kind of know that he's only done that to get a bit of attention. But a lot of people were slagging him off for having Havertz. And I went on and I said that you should never slag somebody off for having a differential. Slag him off if he doesn't actually start with him, fair enough. But having a differential, you should never slag someone off for that, because you want people to be different in FPL. Everyone shouldn't have the same team. That's why people do have the same team, because they're too afraid to do anything different, because everybody calls them an idiot if they don't immediately get lots of points. It's just ridiculous. It's good to have a few differentials. You can't agree with everybody. And maybe Havertz will be really good, or whoever else you have, or Trossard, or Bowen, or Diaby. Any of these players could turn out to be really good. But if you ask somebody to rate your team, which is what you shouldn't do, then you just get knocked into place, don't you? It's like these content creators that do rate my team sessions, and everyone comes on and shows them their team, and the content creator will go, oh no, take Kanza out and take so-and-so out. Anyone that's not template, they'll be advised to take them out and put in a template player. So it completely shuts down all creativity. And this is what's happening. I think I said this morning on Twitter that compared with 10 years ago, everybody's got much more cautious now in their approach to the game. People used to look for differentials and they used to attack it. You attack game week 1. And people don't do that now. It seems like the goal these days is to finish game week 1 with the same team as everyone else, so you can't lose FPL. That's what they're saying. You can't win FPL in game week 1, but you can lose it. It's a ridiculous saying, really, because neither statement's true. And but people have just become so cautious. They're afraid to take risks. And I think it's swung too far now. And it's these algorithms where I think Steve-O was saying this morning that you can actually go and get the AI to rate your team, and it'll tell you your team's 97% perfect, because they've devised a 100% perfect team, But this team isn't going to get 100% perfect points, is it? It's like, because football's not like that. It's not like chess. But And this thing will go and rate your teams for you, and everyone's picking their teams based on how similar they are to this AI team, and it's just ridiculous. You know, it's you're seeing everybody now is far too cautious. You know, so I mean, how many of these players have I got at the moment? I've got Pickford. Well, Pickford's not one of the ones that's doing well in pre-season. We've got Chilwell. Now, Chilwell's doing great in pre-season. He's the one defender, a standout for me. I'm a bit biased, you know, Chelsea ones come up. But he's the one defender this season that is really standing out. You know, he's this year's Trent, I think, and he's 2.5 million cheaper. He's got such a crisp shot on him. Got a great shot away again today and the other day. He's just so involved, and as long as he stays fit, he's been a lock in my team since the start, and great, you know, he's having a good pre-season. And someone like him, it's important that you see them having a good pre-season, you know, because of his injury record, etc. You want to see them moving properly and all that type of thing. What else can we bang on about now? Diaby. Or Diaby, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Diaby, isn't it? For Villa. New player, 2 games, 2 goals. You know, he's even ex-Michu, is he? He could be, couldn't he? Always looking for the new Michu. But he could be very good. You know, I'm not getting him from the start. I mean, you could get him from the start. People get put off by... Everyone's always put off by the first fixture, aren't they? And you've got to remember, it's not a one fixture game miss. So you don't have to worry too much. There's always this temptation to stick everyone in that's got a great fixture on game week 1. But what you forget is that usually means that they've all got a shit fixture somewhere else, doesn't it? So it's good to have a few that have got a not such a great fixture in game week 1. That's why I like the Chelsea ones, because theirs just get better afterwards. Target the ones that people are going to be bringing in and get them before. So it kind of puts you ahead of the curve straight away. Even though you might not get ahead of the curve in points, you will get ahead of the curve in people's transfer plans. So you've got Diaby, could be really good. Villa in general, doing very well in pre-season. Konza, I put it up there, and Cash, both scored in pre-season. Looking good. Brighton have been looking good, so I put Estupin in there, even though him personally, he hasn't done anything out of the ordinary. So who else? Mbeumo. Got a goal today, didn't he? A penalty. But the thing is, peeps, he got quite a few goals last year in pre-season, but that's the only one he's got so far. And it was a penalty, so he's got nothing in open play. So the jury's out. I'm not overly impressed with Brentford, to be honest with you, from what I've seen. Because I was looking at Visser early on. He's gone from my plans now. Now, who else has done well in pre-season that I haven't got on this list? Tell me, peeps, tell me. Now, I can't really think of anybody offhand. I mentioned Havertz, didn't I? He did really well. Oh, Saka's done well, hasn't he? Apart from missing his penalty. In fact, everyone in Arsenal has been doing well. Too blooming well. Because we just don't know. He's like Pep's mini-me, isn't he, old Arteta? He kind of learnt off Klopp, and you can see that the only thing that Klopp can do that he can't at the moment is rotate all his players, and you just know that Arteta's itching to do the same thing. You know, I think this season we're going to see it. We're going to see Smith Rowe's going to get games, Trossard's going to get games, Hazard's going to get games. I keep calling him Hazard, don't I? Havertz is going to get games. I think Jesus will be rested. A lot of people saying Trossard can play as a striker. And I think it's going to be quite a frustrating season, I think, for those. I think Chelsea have a new Arsenal, to be honest. I think Arsenal of last year. This year it's going to be Chelsea that are the Arsenal of last year. It's going to be nice and easy. We're going to get Nkunku in. We're going to get Jackson in. Even Mudryk might start flying. We know Chilwell and James, as long as they stay fit. Even Sterling, you know, he is improving. Everyone slags off poor old Sterling, but he is gradually getting better. And I think they're going to be a lot more predictable, picking-wise, than Arsenal are this season. I know we're all flocking to Arsenal. Well, they have got the good fixtures, though, haven't they, to be fair? I think if they didn't, I wouldn't be bothering with Arsenal, unless their fixtures were... if the fixtures are bad, I wouldn't be bothering with them much. Probably put Saka in. Just have Saka, and that would be it. Anyway, peeps, that's enough for today. I've been banging on a bit, and we've been going for quite a while by the look of it, half an hour. Jesus Christ. So we've done well, and we've got rid of Plucky, and we've had a look at pre-season, and we're all looking for our differentials, aren't we? And this coming week, I think, is a deciding week, isn't it? Hopefully teams don't do what United have done today. Hopefully teams are going to put out their full strength teams today. Palace did that, actually. Palace put out a full strength team today, the best team he could put out, and shone like a star. So I think United are making a mistake. I suppose they've still got one game left, but whether it's all going to click together in one game, who knows? But next week's game is going to be pretty important, and we need to keep an eye on it. And I'll be here reporting on it all, because hopefully I've got a bit of time on my hands these days, and I'm going to hopefully going to be able to watch quite a bit. So I'll talk to you all later anyway, peeps, and remember to like and subscribe, and I'll be back in a day or two. Okay then, so cheers for now.